And so that should pop up as live on our Facebook page. So I'm going to check that. Let's see. There it is. Okay. And my hair's messed up.
No.
It's so puffed. Okay. It's okay. We only have
People
one
pay good
hair.
money for that.
You're right.
So cherish it.
I shall. Thank you. All right. It looks like we've got a few people watching with us. So I'm going to go ahead and start. You ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. All right. So hello and welcome back to another Facebook Live here in the Wilson County News Break Room. I'm your usual host, Julia, the marketing and social media specialist here at the Wilson County News. And I'm joined today by Holly Mutz Smith. If
Hi.
you'd like to introduce yourself.
I'm Holly Mutz Smith, and I am the owner and designer at Stella Marie Studio.
And she is so awesome, so sweet, and we are so happy to have her with us today. But before we get into talking about her and her jewelry company, we're going to thank our sponsor, Witty's Barbecue and Catering in Lavernia. They are truly awesome people, make awesome food, and you should definitely check them out if you're in the area ever at all. And as usual, we're going to draw a prize winner for our comic contest. So as you may or may not know, every time that you comment on a video while we're live, you get entered to win a contest. It's just a random drawing. So here I have a pretty little tray from our gift shop, and I'm going to ask that you draw a winner from here.
Okie doke. Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
The Lavernia Market Days.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And that's cool because we'll actually be talking with the Lavernia Market Days sooner or later. I think next month, but my calendar's way over there and my head's jumbled, so don't quote me on that. So I'll be in touch with you, Lavernia Market Days. Congratulations, and if you're watching, that's awesome. We're glad to have you again. All right, so now that we've gotten through all the formalities.
Now we get to the fun.
Yes, the fun stuff.
Yes.
All right, so Holly, where are you from? Like, where did you grow up, and how did you become familiar with this area?
Okay, so I actually grew up on the outskirts of San Antonio. I went to East Central High School, class of '01. So after graduating, I actually came to Wilson County to work at this exact spot.
Wow,
I worked for the Wilson County News as a writer for quite a few years. But I also have family ties to this area. I've got a lot of family out in Poth and Fall City, and I've got a brother in Lavernia and his family. So I've always been tied to the Wilson County community. Every family reunion, we would do it with my maiden name being Mutz. Every family reunion was out in Poth at the VFW. So
that makes sense.
you know, I've grown up in the area, so it's all very familiar to me.
And that's good to know.
Yeah.
So what is Stella Marie jewelry? Like, where did this inspiration come from?
You know, with Stella Marie, I started Stella Marie Studio back in about 2016, and it was a creative outlet for me. It was something that I've always been a creative person, but this was something that I wanted to do on the side. It actually started with wreaths. I made wreaths for all occasions, and that was it was just a fun thing for me to do on the side.
Yeah.
And then I had a lot of people say, well, you should sell these. And I thought, okay, all right, I'll do this as a side gig. And then it's evolved over and over and over again. But just to kind of first talk about the name, Stella Marie, it's a mixture of my grandmother's names. So This beautiful lady here is my grandma Stella, and this is my mother's mother. And I never got to know her, but she's an incredible woman from all of the stories I hear. And then this beautiful woman over here is Gladys Marie, and maiden name Skrobarczyk, but she was a Mutz. And so again, lots of ties to the area, but these are both of my grandmothers. I didn't get to know Stella. I was very young when my other grandmother passed away. But with both of them, they were mothers of 7 kids apiece. I mean, and they were the glue of the family. And so it's nice to hear the stories, to hear of how strong this female presence was during a time when that wasn't necessarily acknowledged as much. And so from that, I thought, man, they had such beautiful names. I thought, why don't I combine those names to make my business? And I was super excited that it sounds so beautiful. Stella Marie.
Does.
It's a great name in my opinion. So, but that was kind of the namesake for it. And then as I started creating things, it has evolved from just making wreaths and things like that to making jewelry, to making signs, to making all sorts of stuff. And so usually a lot of my clients are like, hey, I have an idea for this. Can you make it? And I typically try and figure it out. So, hey, I'm open to whatever. But right now it's been predominantly jewelry, earrings of all types. And that's been what's been most popular lately. So I have everything on my website, which is shopstellamarie.com. And that, it keeps me busy. Aside from my main jobs.
Yes.
So.
And just as a side note, what are your main jobs?
Oh goodness, I wear many hats, but my husband and I own a real estate brokerage, which is Homestead and Ranch Real Estate, and we service Austin, San Antonio, Houston, and Waco, and so that's the main deal. So we are constantly running with that because real estate is such a lucrative business, but. This is the kind of the side thing. I'm also homeschooling my 6-year-old son.
Job of its own.
So that there's lots of I'm busy a lot.
I don't doubt that.
So not too much sleeping, but hey, I'll take it. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, I think that's a really good philosophy.
Yeah.
And with what you've got going on, this is just amazing from what I hear. It seems like you've really blossomed, not just like with your community, but in several communities. I'm willing to bet a lot of people in Wilson County may know because of your connections here.
Absolutely.
So if you guys are familiar with Stella Marie Jewelry, or you happen to know or be related to Miss Holly here, leave a comment and let her know.
Please.
But you did mention that you also make signs. Did you make this sign?
I did. I made this one. And every once in a while, for the first few years, I would go to like craft shows here and there.
Yeah.
And right now with COVID, that's a little bit harder to do, but and fitting it in time wise. But yes, when it comes to signs, I've done a number of different kinds of signs. I still do the wreaths, and then it's just kind of whatever people come up with for me to make. I'm up for any challenge. So
that's really sweet.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting to figure out. Okay. What are the logistics to make something happen? And it's fun to problem solve it and just kind of see. Throw something at the wall, see what sticks.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Mm-hmm. So, do you design all of the jewelry that you have on your website?
I do. Everything is made by, and I say that with a caveat. All of the designs are made by me as far as I'm assembling them. Most of the leather, all of the leather is cut by me and cut in the shapes and designs that I want. Wow. I do offer not only leather, which I try and stick with only genuine leather, not faux leather jewelry, but I also incorporate acrylics, resins, things of that nature. So that way there's a lot of different textures to work with, but all of it is super lightweight because I know that for myself, if I am wearing earrings all day and they're super heavy, then by the end of the day, my ear hurts and I no longer want to wear them. So what I really liked about leather in general is that it's so lightweight and that, you can wear it all day and forget that you're wearing it. So that's kind of the goal of all of the jewelry that I make, is that I want to make it, number one, affordable, but number two, I want it to be lightweight to where people don't mind wearing it all day long. And they feel like they can wear a big, gigantic earring and it's not going to weigh their ear down.
It's not just like dragging your head down when you put one side on and then you put the other side on and now you feel like this.
I've had it so many times where it's like my earlobes were sore by the end of the day and I thought, come on, this isn't going to work.
That's not the way to go.
No, and I love big, gigantic earrings. So it's you want it to,
sure.
exactly. So, and these are part of my Sassy Spike collection, which, a lot of people, especially I have a lot of people who purchase from me in Lavernia. So that Lavernia crew, thank you. But the Sassy Spike collection is probably my most popular collection. And I think I've got a couple of those up there, but they come in a bunch of different sizes. But they're lightweight, they have great movement and great texture. So it's just something different. This is not something that you see in every store. And all of it's assembled by me.
Yeah. So it really is, each earring itself, even in a pair, is unique. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
there's that nothing is perfect, and yet you've created this, like, perfect little thing.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
it. You're welcome.
No, I really enjoy it. It's fun to kind of, see what goes together and see what people really take to, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
times where I'm like, "Oh my god, this is the best earring ever." And then and then nobody wants it and I'm like, "Oh, well."
Yeah.
But then other ones
Like,
that
I'll
it's like,
wear it.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it works. So, I'm happy about it. It's a fun process for sure.
For sure. And, this is a question that I just came up with off the
Sure.
top of my head. Didn't write it down. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Yeah. Curveballs.
But with COVID-19 and all the mask wearing, have you seen, like, different trends with earrings matching the masks? Has that been something that you've seen with customers?
Not necessarily with my customers, but what I have found, being that I have to wear a mask, most places I go, especially with real estate, when you put the mask on, if you're not wearing earrings, a lot of times if you take one side off, which a lot of times when you get outside, you want to take the one side off so you can, breathe.
Yeah.
But then immediately the other side wants to fly off. But when you're wearing a large pair of earrings,
Yes.
it does not fly off. So
it's
that's
not
something
right.
I've really thought, oh, well, this is another perk to my amazing earrings.
Okay.
Is just wear the earrings and your mask won't fall off.
You're
So
not wrong.
exactly.
You heard it from her.
But now I need to make like matching mask and earring sets. So
Yes. There's an idea.
Royalties.
Business idea. Got you. Ooh, we do have a question from Sharon Sheck Pullman. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. I'm not that great at it. Do you use sterling silver for posts?
I do. I didn't used to years ago. And it's as you kind of navigate this, you want to have it to where you're not going to have any kind of allergens with your ears. So
Yes.
you don't want to have anything like that. So yes, I usually am using stainless steel or the surgical steel for the earring wires or the posts.
Okay. Good
So it's
to
all
know.
hypoallergenic.
Yes. That's really good. I appreciate that because, like,
Same.
I can't wear anything that's not real or
Agreed.
not nickel free. Turns my ears green.
Yeah, everything
So,
I have is nickel free for sure. But then I've even upped my game when it comes to whatever the post or the ear wires.
Yes.
Just because you don't want to have anything like that because that's a bummer.
It is. It is.
And it hurts.
It does. It's terrible. So
For
that's
sure.
really good to know. Great assurance.
Yes.
And so, just out of curiosity, you cut all of these little designs like by hand?
I have a machine that
Okay.
it's like a whole computer program with the machine, and so I'm able to cut those in that way. But then I go and hand trim all of them because I can't stand it when a leather earring has all the little wispies on the end.
Yeah.
So it may be my me being a perfectionist. It may be that, but I go and I actually hand cut all of that stuff, and then. Just depending on the design, usually I try and make it work with the machine, so that way it's a more concise cut.
Yeah.
But then any other trimming that needs to be done, I do that by hand. But I'm the only one that's
Wow.
touching these earrings, and so it's all me.
That's definitely an achievement there. That's crazy. It must, I mean, I can't imagine how not, just time consuming that is. Like tedious, all the little things.
I'm a lot faster at it now than I used to be. Now I can knock it out pretty fast,
Yeah.
just because I've made so many. But it's it's a labor of love. I can't
course.
complain.
That's so sweet. So, out of curiosity, what kinds of inspiration have you used for your designs? Is there anything culturally or just things that have caught your eye, certain shapes?
It varies based on some of the designs. Some of it's just my own personal taste. When it comes down to anything animal print, I'm usually making it because I love animal print. So I'm wearing animal print today, but generally anything leopard, zebra, any kind of animal print, I will try to incorporate. But I also just probably over the last 8 months, I had teamed up with a nonprofit. It's called Pinups for Vets,
Okay.
and everything with those earrings is actually military inspired.
Wow.
And so the founder of that nonprofit, she and I kind of we just go back and forth on designs on what kind of inspiration we could pull.
Yeah.
And I was able to just look at old like military uniforms, things like that. Of course, anything patriotic with red, white, or blue,
course,
things
yeah.
like that. And we were able to design some specialty earrings for the nonprofit. And so she actually, that particular nonprofit, it's all these females, and most of them are veterans. And they'll go to like VA hospitals, and they'll go to cheer up the guys that are in there, or any of the patients rather. And so they do a lot of really good stuff for veterans. And so when she asked me to create a line of earrings for her, I was like, well, hey, I'm on board. So that's been really, really cool too. But it was fun to kind of narrow down how I wanted to design those earrings, and to pull those patriotic notes into the earrings. That's just something different than I had ever done before. Aside from just, okay, what do I think looks pretty, And so that's typically what I pull from is, what do I think looks pretty? And it's usually animal print. It's usually sparkle.
Yeah.
I try to jump in with the trends as much as possible, but I don't know that I'm a trend savvy, if you will, but I do what I can.
Yeah. Okay. And from what I see, I think your jewelry is 100% beautiful.
Thank
you. I think you're doing a great job with that.
I appreciate that.
Of course. And so you've mentioned that you and your husband with your real estate, y'all work all sorts of areas, Waco, San Antonio, Austin.
Yep.
So where does that leave Stella Marie? Where is that based?
So it's based out of Driftwood, Texas, which is just probably about 25 miles southwest of Austin, Texas. Okay. And so, but we go all over. My shop is completely online, so there's not like a store that you go into to find it. It's all on my website, and it used to be an Etsy shop when it started, but now I've kind of gone to my own website, and that we get a good amount of traffic there, so
that's good.
It works out. And now at this point, there's been enough word of mouth throughout predominantly Texas, but I've shipped, I think, to all 50 states at this point.
Wow.
I've shipped to Ireland. I've shipped to New Zealand.
That's crazy.
It's really cool to think about like where your stuff goes in this world, and I think that's awesome. So even though I'm based in Driftwood, we go everywhere.
That is so cool. And that just makes me think of someone in Ireland just wearing your earrings. And
right.
Like, oh, where did you get those? They're so cute. From Stella Marie, they're in Texas.
But the thing is, across the world, everyone knows who Texas, or everyone knows where Texas is.
Exactly.
Like, we are known, and we're prouder than the rest.
Oh, for sure. It'll be like, Alabama. Wait, who?
Who? But Texas.
Texas.
Even if they think we're just a bunch of cowboys, who cares? We're known. Exactly.
Yeah. Any news is good news.
Exactly.
Yes. And so, do you operate out of Driftwood, or is that like?
It's a place filler, because honestly, with the amount that I do, like I said, in Lavernia alone, I have a ton of people who order from me in Lavernia, and I'll make stuff that's specific for, it's like the royal blue and white, for school stuff, and a lot of people in San Antonio, of course, a lot of people in Austin as well. So it's more so to put the name on the website, or the place on the website, as opposed to, since there's no storefront, there's no brick and mortar, it's strictly online, it's just, that's where I live.
All right, good deal. And so where can we find you? What is your website called?
The website is shopstellamarie.com, and it is my own website, so I have most everything listed on there, and it's just, basically any orders over $35 ends up getting free shipping. And awesome. I try to ship out within, usually it's about 3 days that I'm able to get it turned around. If it's not already made. If it's already made, then I usually get it out same day or next day. So nice. I'm pretty quick with my turnaround.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so, because I know when I order stuff, I want it like Amazon fast, which I'm not that fast, but...
You're one person.
But it's high quality stuff, y'all. So, that is the predominant place, aside from the earrings that I make for the nonprofit, which that's at a different website with all of the nonprofit stuff. So that's a separate thing, but that's pinupsforvets.com. They do amazing stuff for veterans, so check them out too.
Good catch.
I got overzealous, so
we
sorry,
have everything
y'all.
Like stacked on
Yeah,
everything.
so
Yeah,
maybe.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I think we're all good.
Yeah, we're all set.
We did have a couple of questions.
Sure.
So Elaine wants to know, where is Driftwood again?
It's just southwest of Austin, Texas. And so about 25 miles from downtown Austin.
So that's not too far from here. That's not too far.
It's nothing. Nothing is a long drive anymore.
I feel that.
I drive everywhere, and when you grow up on the outskirts of San Antonio, most drives are at least like 30 or so minutes. So that's just kind of normal. So, but I'm in San Antonio so often seeing my parents and my family. So, and then we're out in Lavernia a lot because we have the Heather Murray team out there. So we're constantly visiting them, talking with them.
That makes sense.
So yeah, we're just all over the place. So driving that's just a part of life.
Makes sense. And then Elaine also wants to know, what were some of your favorite things you did while you were a writer at the Wilson County News?
Oh man, we'll be here a while if I talk about all the things I loved. And I was actually on my drive here today, I was remembering a lot of that stuff. What was really awesome is I had the freedom to be able to explore my interest and be able to write about them. So my claim to fame, and I still tell everybody about it, is I was able to start it was like a Texas country music section where I was able to go and interview different artists. And the one that I'm probably most proud of is I got to interview Ray Price.
Wow.
And I got to go sit on his tour bus and interview him. He was watching a horse race at the time. And it was just like, I just kind of hung out. And then I got to interview him. And it was, I mean, it's Ray Price. He's a legend. And so that was one of my most favorite things that I got to do. But I had such creative freedom, and that's what I really loved. I loved being able to write. I loved being able to tell stories. Yeah. And so it was really exciting to be able to work here for so many years and be able to tell so many stories in that amount of time. And just remembering some of the stuff that, on my drive here today, it was like going down memory lane because I love doing it. I truly, that is my passion, is writing. And so it was good to be able to explore that for so many years here. I loved it here.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
I expect to see something like an autobiography or a memoir.
I don't know who wants to read it, but I'd sure love to write it. So
if you ever pursue it, let us know.
I'm on it.
Love to read it.
Yes.
All right. And so I want to know, what kind of jewelry is your favorite type to wear?
I go through spurts because at the very beginning, I used to work with faux leather, and I can't do faux leather anymore. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It just doesn't hold its shape as well. Yeah. And so I don't like earrings that start rolling or bend. I just need it to be good quality.
Yes.
So I've since switched from that, even though you can get really cool designs on the faux leather. And I went to genuine leather, and genuine leather comes in so many different, quality, size, shape, color, prints, all sorts of, there's so much variety with it. I always tend to go more towards that, but then I started getting into the acrylic stuff, and the acrylic, there's so many cool different designs that you can get with the acrylic earrings. Now, I don't make the acrylic pieces. I order them from a supplier out of Dallas. Okay. And but then I start putting them all together and figuring out how I want the design to look. And so so that has kind of become my new favorite, but it just kind of, I remember always asking this question to people I would interview. I would say, okay, it was usually with these singers. I would say, what is your favorite song to sing? Because I thought, of course, there's got to be their favorite song. There's got to be one. Yeah. But it always seemed to evolve. Like it was whatever was newest. They loved singing that.
Makes sense.
And and I thought at the time, okay. But now that kind of makes sense to me, because it seems like as I go through this and the business evolves, I'm able to try out new designs and see how they hold up in the course of a day and how they feel on your ear.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's constantly changing. Let's put it that way.
Really cool. And so, I just thought, you make all of this jewelry. You've just said you try it all out. How large is your earring collection now?
Oh, girl.
You have like a whole room?
It is, I mean, it's laughable at this point. Like, when I go to get dressed, I'm like, okay, well, now I need some earrings. And I look through my earrings and I'm like, but I think I made some new ones. So I'm going to go try those out. So it grows pretty much weekly. Oh my gosh. Let's not talk about it. There's never going to be enough room for my earrings and my accessories. What can you do? There are worse addictions.
There are. There are. You know, there really are.
Absolutely.
I'm the same way, but with books. It's bad.
That's better.
Yeah.
That's better. You're
better,
feeding
but
your
it's
brain.
bad. Yes, yes, yes. You're feeding your ears. It's
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So here's one of my most look forward to questions just for me. What makes Stella Marie Studios so unique, and what makes it special and worthwhile to you?
You know, I'm sure it'd be a different answer from the people that I my clients. But for me, what I feel is the difference is that these are not where you go to a store and you see 20 of the same type of earring. All of these are typically going to be a more unique pair that you can add to your collection. And this is not something that, everybody that you go to a girls' night with is going to have the same exact pair. And that is what I really hang my hat on, because I think that when it comes to having accessories or having any type of, fashion pieces, you want to be, at least I've always wanted to set myself apart. And so that's where I think that Stella Marie kind of is different than the rest, is that it's not the same old. I'm not trying to copy other people's designs. I'm just trying to forge my own way. And so I feel like that is kind of what's the difference. That's that special, the magic sauce, the secret sauce is that you're not going to necessarily find the same exact design anywhere else. And I'm not copywriting anything or trademarking anything, but I have yet to find the designs that I have elsewhere in the same capacity. And I'm proud of that. I like it. It's
definitely.
just it's showing my creativity, but I still make sure that you're getting a quality product with the materials that I use. So
yeah. I definitely think that's something to be proud of. I completely agree.
Thank you.
Of course. And so, what is it like to own a small jewelry business? Like, what is it like to be an entrepreneur?
Being an entrepreneur in any sense of the word, it means a lot of hustle and a lot of work. But that's not something I've ever been afraid of. I am the daughter of entrepreneurs, and so that was my example my whole life growing up. And I'm insanely proud of my parents, and they've shown me the way in so many different facets of my life. So it is something that that was just a normal thing for me. Like, that's what I grew up knowing, and that's what I knew I wanted to do at some point. With us having the real estate brokerage and me having Stella Marie, there's a lot of learning curves. And I think that that's just with I think any entrepreneur would say the same thing, is that you make mistakes and you dust yourself off and you keep going. And that's something that, I think that those challenges just make you stronger and make you better. And I'm all about setting that bar high. And so I feel like that's what we do with our businesses, is that we set the bar high, and we expect a lot out of people and ourselves. And at the end of the day, we hope to achieve it all.
Yeah.
So.
Well, dang. And so, as an entrepreneur, do you have any advice for young aspiring business owners?
Don't be lazy.
Okay.
I know that sounds really harsh, and everyone, I think everyone knows, anyone who knows me knows I'm a very assertive, to the point person, but I think that we have to be, we have to go for it, and you have to have the hustle, and you can't expect it to just fall in your lap. And, work hard, take advantage of the opportunities that are, presented to you, and go from there. I mean, and kind of like what I was mentioning before, if you set the bar high, then you're always going to be angling and reaching for it, and trying to work hard to get to that next step. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that as long as you've got that hustle and the drive, that's what's going to set you apart from the rest of the world. And maybe that's too Pinteresty of a saying, but I truly believe it, and it's not an easy thing by any means, but it's doable, and so you just got to go for it.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I'm sure many people who watch this in the future will find that very good words of advice.
Oh, I am quite inspirational, y'all. Just reach out anytime. I'll give you lots of inspiration.
Yeah. And we can find you on Facebook, correct?
Yes. So I do have a Facebook and Instagram, and it's all Stella Marie. Stella Marie Studio is the full name. But for my website, it's shopstellamarie.com.
Awesome.
And there's pretty much every kind of earring that I have made is on there. And if it's not, just message me. And if you have something that's custom that you want me to try out, let me know, and I'll do my very best to make it come to fruition. So
that is so cool.
Yeah,
I love that you can do that. Like,
at this point, I say why not?
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. So. We did have a question from Kelly Whitley. She wants to know if you'll be making more necklaces.
I will be. I actually have some more supplies coming in. So yes, more necklaces will be coming soon, and more designs of leather earrings. Okay. I've got a bunch of those coming in as far as different types of leather coming in. So yes, if there's any other types of jewelry y'all want to see, y'all just hit me up. I'm happy to oblige.
Good to know. All right, I hope that answers your question, Miss Whitley. And I know we're coming close to the end of our little time slot, trying to keep it below half an hour so y'all don't have to sit here for too long watching us talk. But
even though we're really entertaining.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely like highlight of your day.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding. I hope your day gets a lot better than sitting here watching two people talk. But if not, I'm sorry. I really hope that it gets better tomorrow. But anyways, kind of as a closing, I just wanted to point out jewelry designing and making is an art. It's not just a business, it's an art. It's a form of art. And what you do is art, and you make beautiful things for beautiful people. And when these beautiful people are combined with your beautiful things, it's just this wonderful representation of your imagination, our culture, the world we live in. It's so cool, like what jewelry represents.
And you wouldn't think that, because you think it's such a minuscule part of our life.
Yeah,
but
so
it
mundane.
It's very, for me, I think I've looked at it way more than most people do. But it is one of those things where when we go and present ourselves to the world, we're doing our hair, doing our makeup, doing having our accessories on. But a lot of those are the things that give us confidence, and that's what makes us project our best selves. Yes. So it's kind of cool to think that I have some sort of part in that. But it's also cool to think that my grandmothers, who, a million years ago, they have no idea that this kind of thing is happening, but they've had such an influence in my life, and I, didn't know them. And then to know that their name is on something that's going out to people at this point, I just think that's the coolest thing ever.
It is really cool.
And it just, Stella Marie stuff is, any of my products represent, the influence of two very strong women. And like these women, just like I said, a lot of it is just from the stories I hear, but I'm so proud of them, and I'm so excited that I was able to have a business that I was able to put their names on. And so hopefully they're just as proud looking down.
I bet
Let's
they
hope so.
All right. Well, that kind of wraps up what I had here today.
Cool.
So I, again, would just love to thank you for coming
problem.
today. It was an awesome conversation. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And thank you for watching. Those of you that were here for the whole time, wow, that's awesome. You stayed through and watched us babble for like 30 minutes.
Yes,
Love you. Thank you so much. And thank all of you who watched today at all. Thank you guys for commenting, for participating, giving us your questions. We love it. And thank you, Witties, for sponsoring this video again, amongst many others. If you want to learn more about Witties, barbecue and catering, we did a video on them a couple months ago, I believe. So you could go back to our videos on our Facebook page and look that up if you're curious. But for now, thank you again for tuning in. And we really hope that you're able to join us next week on Wednesday at 10 a.m. All right. We'll see you next time.